me keep holding on this time, cause it won't be long until you're mine. Sure as I've been waiting for your love.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Global StarCraft Series. We've got Lacira versus Marine King first up. That'd be pretty awesome. I actually saw Lacira come in and
with a big, massive grin on his face.
He did, and
there.
we were just in the middle of casting the fruit dealer game, and I resisted, but I just wanted to be like, Lucira's in the building. And I saw him come in. He looks really comfortable, confident about this match. His EVT is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to see the stats on his recent matches in that, because I think that would show at least 60%, I think.
At least 60%?
Yeah, I think so.
People think 60% doesn't sound that good off the books, but when you're talking about in the GSL, that is an extremely good win rate.
Watch me be completely wrong. And it's like 12% or something because they don't show that many games.
Yeah, that's right. But also in this group, we also have CoCa and Alicia as well.
CoCa is a player who's on the team ZenX. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's actually so good. He's always been good. He just didn't show it. And results don't mean everything. Now he's finally been able to prove himself. He's in Code S. Can he prove himself further, or will he fall back down to Code A? We'll find out. Alicia, I call him the chosen one because it was the last Protoss in the Super Tournament. Very, very creative. He's shown us a lot of different styles. He can all-in. He can play a late game. His 4-gate is very good. Like Genius, you don't really know what to expect from Alicia.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of those players that are in Code S at the moment, I like that. That's why they're in Code S, because you never know what's coming from them. You can't play to their weaknesses. They do have them, but they hide them extremely well.
Exactly. And if you don't know what to expect against a Protoss, it kind of forces you to play certain styles that are extremely safe.
Yeah.
If you do something like what happened to Virus, you just lose. So we're going to take a look at the group selections.
실리를 선택하기보다는 잘하는 선수랑 한판 승부해보고 싶어요.
두 분의 레더 성적.
제가 좀 더 이기는 수준인 것 같습니다.
스승님과 힘을 모아 해명의 허리를 끊겠습니다.
어쩐지 그 스승의 그 제자라는 말이 있듯이 둘 다 치즈를 아예 못 막더라고요. 저그는 정말 제 답이기 때문에
테란을 뽑으려 했는데요.
네.
치즈는 기본이랑 맞으면 안 되니까 이번에는 치즈를 안 맞는 게 제 목표.
오기 싫은 조 중에 하나였는데 이렇게 뽑아주셔서 혼자밖에 없으니까 이 자리를 유지해야겠죠.
Group of death. Zerglings are his meat.
Well, they actually are.
So. You might want to have a double Zergling burger with cheese. double cheese Zergling burger. I don't know what that double cheese was about. CoCa hates cheese though. He wants his Zergling burgers without cheese. He actually doesn't like Zergling burgers. He's a Zerg.
Of course, if you didn't see it before, we do have Zenix, CoCa, I am Lucira, Marine King Prime, we, and Slayer's Alicia all in this group. This is one tough group.
Look at Slayer's Alicia over there. I actually couldn't think he would... I just can't even see him looking like that. He looks so manly. Before, he actually looked pretty normal. I mean, he looked like a good pro gamer. Now he just looks like the manliest guy ever. Like, I bet he's about to pick up a car after he leaves the studio.
Pick up a car?
I don't know. If you pick up a car, you're quite manly.
Okay.
There are some girls that can pick up cars. Little do they know, they're pretty manly. They are. That's just all there is to it, man.
Fair enough. So who have we got coming up right now?
Alright, so right now we're going to have Lacira versus Marine King first up.
Oh, first?
Yep.
You guys are going first?
Yeah, they're going first. The map is Crossfire. What do you feel about that? I talk so much about Crossfire. I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
Crossfire, I have mixed feelings. In some matchups, I feel it's a great map. Other ones, not so much. I guess you agree since you...
Well, let's take a look at Lacira first before we talk about this. Now, obviously, his ranking is 30th. He hasn't been in Code S that long. I believe last season was his first time. He made it all the way, though, to the round of 8 in that season. Did quite well. Fell out of the Super Tournament really early. Forgot who he lost to, but his win rate versus Terran, 55.6. Pretty decent. Close to 60. Better than 50% is very impressive, though. And we have a better than 50% win rate in any matchup, especially if it's a matchup that you're playing that day. It allows you to feel a little bit comfortable, and I think he might be the favorite to win this one. I gotta say.
Interestingly enough, that's the first time I've ever seen him not smiling.
Yeah.
I'm serious. He's always smiling. It's freaky sometimes.
Well, it's funny because a lot of these makeup pictures make people look really manly, but on the other note, it's kind of weird. And it's not really manly, you know what I mean?
I do indeed. So,
Well, I said that he might be the favorite here, but look at Marine King's win rate versus Zerg.
yeah.
84.6%. Now, the reason I say that he might not be the top, or he might not be the favorite here, I was trying to think of a different word to use, but we're just going to use favorite again. He's been practicing for other matchups a lot recently.
Yes.
Played a lot of TBTs, played a lot of TVPs, but his TVZ, he hasn't played it that much recently. Now, I'm sure he's been training and preparing for this. He's known about this for a long time. But again, his TVP is something that's used to be his weakest matchup, but is actually maybe his strongest matchup now. He developed a pretty new style for that.
Yep.
And his TVZ has always been strong, but he just hasn't practiced it enough recently, I don't think.
Well, he knows that there's 2 Zergs in his group. There is also Alicia. It's a lot easier to practice for this group, other than, say, CoCa, who has to go every single matchup.
Yeah.
So that's going to be very difficult. There they are on screen. See, he's always smiling.
Yeah.
All right, Marine King, his patented little collar. I always see him.
I like Marine King a lot. He's actually my favorite pro gamer. It's a little trivia about Wolf for you guys. I think he's a great player. He's really creative. And I say, maybe he hasn't been practicing that much. We don't really know. I think
he'd be
that's going to be...
practicing.
I say Lucira's the favorite here, but just barely. I mean, maybe just a little bit. Maybe not even. As I always like to pick a favorite going into it, but this time I changed my mind. Neither of them are the favorite. That's how it is. It's going to be really close.
Yeah, it is. Of course, we did come down and watch his semi-final games on one of the first few days. Well, I was in Korea. You've been here a long time, of course.
That was actually a really emotional time for Marine King. He lost. He was very upset. But luckily for him, his teammate Polt on that very same day made it into the finals. And then, of course, after that, 4-0'd MMA.
Of course. So looking at the maps that have been eliminated, we have Lucira taking out Zelnaga Fortress and Marine King taking out Belshir Beach. No real surprise for that one.
Yeah, Belshir Beach is just a map that Zergs have tended to do quite well on. Marine King making sure his hair wasn't sticking out there, so I was trying to figure that one out.
But I believe these eliminated maps were actually done before they changed Belshir, because that was only done in the last week or so.
That's true.
So this could be very interesting the way that plays out. And some players who may have not liked it before might change their map veto later on.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to say without that many maps.
Lucira has just been improving so much. He was a Zerg that did really well. He lost to TLO in open season 1 to a very fast Hellion build. It was gas burst Hellions. I think that's who he lost to in the very first open season of GSL. And then again, we didn't see him for a long time.
Yeah.
And he came in and won Code A, busted through that. Now he's in Code S. So he's improved a lot. He's gotten a lot better.
Yeah. We'll see which way he wants to go with it this time. I have a lot of confidence, but then again, it is Marine King. So
They're downloading Lucira's mouse driver, so in the meantime, I've got something in the back of my throat. I think I might drink some of this Gatorade really quick.
actually, this Gatorade does taste quite nice. I hadn't tried it before yesterday, but it's very interesting.
It tastes different to me than the Gatorade I drink in the United States, but it tastes better.
Tastes better. Yeah, that's what
Someone
I
on Twitter told me that in Korea they don't really use high fructose corn syrup. They use real sugar in their drinks. That's what someone told me. So
Okay, no, that does make sense because I remember when I went to Columbus, we were going over there, and me and T-Gun had an argument because I thought the Pepsi and the Coke and all that tasted exactly the same. Obviously, my taste buds are dead because it actually turns out that it is. You guys use the high,
yeah.
and in Australia and over here, they actually use sugar. So
basically, to me, the high fructose corn syrup just leaves this bad taste in your mouth. That's pretty much all it does for me, man. So I came here and I like these drinks so much better, but ironically, I've been drinking more water. All right, we're gonna go ahead and skip this set because Lucira is trying to get his mouse drivers worked out.
Yep.
So we're gonna have CoCa versus Alicia first up instead.
still a good matchup.
Yeah.
So we get to talk about everything over
again.
again.
Take a look at those player intros again. Just skipping around. Obviously, if you don't have your mouse drivers installed, that gets really nasty because everyone has very specific mouse settings.
Yeah.
For example, some mice.
Mice.
You can say both, I think, for that. Is that correct?
I don't know.
So some mice, have external buttons. You want to make sure they're set exactly right. For example, my mouse has 2 external buttons. It's a Razer mouse, and I set them to 0 and 9 so that I can use those because they're relatively far away from the, they're on the other side of the keyboard. Not like StarCraft 1 where if you're playing Protoss, you use 0 for your next, so you can go 0p.
Well, it does give a lot of downtime if you got to move your hand all the way over there to do like Control 0, Control 9 or something like that. You can use the control on the right side of the keyboard, but it's awkward to do that. For me, at least.
You gotta go like this, just sticking your hand all the way over there. QXC actually had a problem with one of his control keys, so for a while, he actually had to take his hand off of his mouse to hotkey some of his stuff, so he was messing around with that. It happens.
Definitely. Like, it's something you don't want to happen, though. You want to try and figure out a hotkey setup that doesn't go to that, but it looks like we are going to go into the stats. Here we go. So, Xenix CoCa, very underrated player, in my opinion. Made it to the round of 8 in the last code, in the May Code A.
Yep.
And also got knocked out in the round of 64, but currently 2 wins, 0 losses versus Protoss.
He lost, I think, to his teammate Lion, if I remember correctly, in the Super Tournament.
Yes.
So it was a ZVZ. And obviously his win rate versus Protoss, 100% in his recent matches. He hasn't played against very many Protosses, though, so that's not a very telling stat. He's a pretty good Zerg, though. I actually practiced with him a little bit when I was in the clan next. I hung out with him. Back then, he wasn't as good as he is now, though, that's for sure. But yeah, that was months and months and months ago, and he's improved so much since then. I'm really proud of this guy,
time to play the game.
Yeah, I still play. I just don't play as much as I used to be able to. It's just how it is as a caster, unfortunately. But I love my job, and I'm always still going to be a player.
Yeah. Here we go, Slayer's Alicia.
Whoa, he looks so different. Alright, so his ranking in the GSL is 22nd. That's relatively high, given that he hasn't been in CoDES for very long. Made it to the round of 16 last season, and in the Super Tournament, made it all the way to the round of 8. He was the only Protoss in that round, so that's why I called him the chosen one. His win rate versus Zerg, pretty high, 83.3%. That's a lot of wins. That's pretty telling, I have to say. And he's not one of those Protosses that just 6 gates every game or does the 8-gate timing attack or the 7-gate specific timing attack with +2 where you just hit. There are a lot of those timing attacks that go around right now. And I'm just looking and searching for Protosses that do not do those timing attacks and try to play safer, more standard games. I'm searching for them. I haven't found very many of them.
But they're around.
I aspire to be one. But I still haven't figured it out yet. And Alicia, he's the chosen one. If anyone could do it, maybe it'll be him.
Exactly. So it is going to be on Tal'Darim Altar. What do you think that's going to... How do you think that's going to flow out between...
Well, on PvZ, a lot of times on Tal'Darim Altar, you'll have a Nexus first and a Hatch first, and it goes into a later game. There are a lot of different builds you can do after that, though. The third base is relatively far away. You either have to destroy the rocks to get the closer one, or you can take the further one away. This particular version is the latter edition. It's not the old GSL version. So the GSL has kind of adapted to use LE. And in fact, I'm looking at it inside the game. It's the Blizzard version itself. It's the exact ladder map. Obviously, Crevasse and Terminus eliminated there. The countdown has started, though. We're really going to get into this one. The drivers are ready. I'm ready. Unstable is ready. CoCa versus Alicia. Let's find out who's going to take this first game in Group D, the Group of Death, here at the GSL. The GSL. Alright, up here at the top left, a member of the team Xenix has improved a lot recently. Just got up into CoDES after last season. The red Zerg here. He is known as
Xenix CoCa.
He looks pretty nervous, I have to say.
We're going up against Alicia.
Yeah, he's the chosen one. Speaking of the chosen one, here he is down here at the bottom right. We are at cross spawns. The blue Protoss, he is
Slayers Alicia.
I like the first one better,
Yeah.
but I like her 3-ring style that she's got going on.
And there's Alicia on screen now.
How many people can wear 3 rings on one hand and get away with it? I'd like to give a shout out to Pepsi and G-Skill for sponsoring this tournament. Don't forget about them.
Okay, so it looks like we are seeing a Forge expand build coming in from Alicia.
Yeah. And of course, his opponent CoCa is going for a Speedling expand, which is very unusual for this map.
Yeah, it is actually. The wide, just the size of the map usually tends to favor more fast expand builds coming in from the Zergs. And of course, this probe being very annoying.
Now, it's kind of odd that he's even bothering with this probe because he's not going to be making that hatchery for a while. It's going to get Zergling speed first. Maybe he just wants to get its hit points down. Nice control here by Alicia, though.
Yep.
And a lot of the time, you do see Zergs nowadays going for that fast Zergling speed instead of doing this. And on the same note, you sometimes see, instead of a Nexus first, the Forge, because there's that 3 pylon wall off that you can do that a lot of Process find out. And if you scout a hatch first, and it's the closest spawn that you scout, and you wall that off, things get really nasty. It's very difficult for the Zerg to recover from that. So that's why a lot of Zergs have been doing Speedling expands, and a lot of Process just go for that Forge first, just going, hey, maybe I can do this. Might not, and if he's doing something different, it's safe.
It's still safe to go into, yeah. That build you were talking about was popularized by MC over at MLG Columbus, a great event.
Yeah,
Anaheim coming up soon.
There are players out there that really like that build, like Combat X, for example. I've heard he does it to my friends all the time. Can't do that build in PvP, so when I run into Combat X, it doesn't turn out that way. But he likes cannons. Let's just say that.
Does indeed.
All right, so right now Alicia has 1 photon cannon up. His wall isn't yet complete. He's continuing to scout with his probe, just making sure, absolutely without a doubt, that hatchery is not going to be canceled. CoCa still mining gas with just 1 drone. It's really smart. A lot of players pull all their drones out. You can do that, but you don't necessarily have to. If you mine the gas, that means you can go into roaches as soon as possible if need be.
Yep.
Now, the fall wall off has been completed by Alicia.
CoCa's just going to sit there with that 1 ling, though. He's not going to really move anywhere else, but he's going to have to find a way to get some scouting information from inside that base.
It's very true. Alicia actually didn't rally his next. There it goes. He fixed it. I was going to say it's going to get really bad if he just has a bunch of probes sitting there.
We have another probe coming in. Sees that expand now from CoCa.
Just to give you guys, I know I talk about StarCraft a lot, but I played it a lot. Just to give you guys some perspective, in StarCraft 1, your workers didn't automatically mine when they came out of a Nexus. Even if you right-clicked on the middle of your rally point there, they would just stand next to it. You have to send each and every single probe, SCV, whatever, to mine every time they finished. It was difficult back
You
in
have
the
a
day.
lair coming out.
Yeah, that is
from CoCa.
really fast.
That's fast, yeah.
He may be going for fast burrow. We've seen a lot of Zergs do that. Get that roach, the roach upgrades out very quickly as well. I just want to talk about this so fast. The lair is so fast. The roach upgrades are fast. I'm talking too fast. He is actually adding a 3rd gas here.
No,
3rd
4th.
and 4th gases very quickly as well. What could he be plotting?
First thing that pops into my head, it may sound silly, but very fast muters.
Definitely a possibility. Well, I'm
Like
kind
if
of
he comes out of nowhere with it, it might catch Alicia off surprise, because you don't usually have cannons in your mineral line this quickly.
That's true, and he doesn't have a roach warren just yet. I think you might be right.
God,
Lair
he
does finish. He gets very fast +1 melee attack.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Well,
Oh, infestors.
that is really interesting.
Well, you
Overlord,
can
of
throw
course,
those
hides
infested
there.
Terrans over the wall.
I don't know if that's the plan,
No, no.
Unstable.
I want to
don't know
see it
about
anyway.
Well, yesterday we did see a great game with a lot of infested Terrans.
Yes.
That was pretty fun. Now, if fast infestors, I'm not entirely sure how this plays out if you go for a 6-gate type of timing attack against fast infestors. I think the infestors would be helpful, but again, Alicia, he's gone up to 5 gates. He may be planning on doing a little bit of a timing attack or at least being aggressive here. The infestors will help. They'll come into play a little bit, but I'm not sure if you can really hold that with your infestors. Especially if you go for the pathogen glands upgrade and you wait a while.
We do have a lot of overlords just... I think they're trying to hide that infestation pit a little bit, or it's just a coincidence. But I have seen some players actually try and do that hide the tech structure with just like the overlords to make it look like nothing's there. But we do see he's actually getting his gateway of all things.
Yeah, usually you kill the cybernetics core, but he is researching hallucination, so that's why he chose to get the gateway instead.
He's also getting +1 attack as well.
Is he going to do... This is actually a build you can do with hallucination where you hit a timing attack with about 4 gates and you hallucinate a bunch of stalkers.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we'll see, but we may see something like that, because I'm not sure why you would get hallucination at this particular time. He wants to scout, of course, what's happening. Okay, so he's not going to move out. He's just going to attack these rocks down here.
Well, with that Twilight Council on the way, he's most likely going to be getting some blink. He's sending those 2 Phoenix out, 2 hallucinated Phoenix out, 2 Scout, as we did see that pathogen glands be cleaned up by CoCa. So we might be seeing some Infestaling against this.
We might be seeing the Chosen One actually not do a timing attack and take a 3rd base safely. I'm just so in the mindset when I watch these games, when I see the hallucination, I'm like, is he going to do a weird timing attack? Every pro has been doing these timing attacks. Like yesterday, it was a Charge Zealot timing attack. I was like, what is this? It's a new timing attack. I don't know. He's going to do the fake kill the rocks timing attack, but then attack and not actually make the Nexus.
But no, he's going to make that Nexus.
Yeah, he does make the Nexus. The Phoenix is coming here and see the Infestors, which is very crucial. Now, here come the Speedlings. The Infestors coming as well.
This might actually work out really well to take out this 3rd that's coming through. There's a lot of sentries in there. There's a lot of stalkers, but there's going to be a lot. Again, I say a lot. But there's also going to be quite a few fungal growths.
Yeah, and the Stalkers can't really micro against the Speedlings even with Blink. If they do get fungled, the Sentries aren't going to be able to force field very well either. If they go down quickly, here come the Speedlings.
The Sentries go down quickly regardless to those fungal growths anyway. And here we go, the Lings come in from the north. There are 2 cannons there, nice force fields. Where are the fungal growths? There they are, doing a lot of damage to the Sentries. The Sentries go down. Just like I was saying, they do drop very quickly. There's all these Stalkers on very low health. Forced to pull back, but so little health on a lot of those Stalkers.
Yeah, those Stalkers do barely survive. The Infestors run away.
Oh, he's trying to run away.
He actually could be caught here because the Stalkers do have Blink, but he does fungal a lot of those Stalkers. A lot of those Stalkers dying.
Oh.
He's researching Neural Parasite, expecting possibly a Colossus follow-up to this. Colossi do pretty well against Infestors. The reason why is because they just outrange them, so they can kill them before they can get their fungals off.
But not if he catches them all with the Neural Parasite.
Yeah, if you get the Neural Parasites, if you flank with your Infestors, do a good job with that. This is actually a very interesting build from CoCa.
He's also getting your Overlord upgrades for some drops. He already had the other upgrade before. We should even talk about it.
There's an Overlord that does get caught.
DTs.
Yeah, Dark Shrine a little bit weird to go when your opponent goes Infestors because Infestors can fungal them.
Yeah.
They become revealed. They can no longer move. Just depends on whether or not you can see them. It's similar to Ghost. Of course, if you EMP a Dark Templar, it gets revealed as well.
Well, it could be some nice harass in case CoCa ever moves out of his base, or at the same time when he attacks the front, could throw them in on the sides. But it looks like we do have Spore Crawlers going down anyway.
This is true. I'm just trying to figure out what Alicia's next move is going to be. He's just now getting his robotics. When you scout the Infestation Pit, or at least when I do, I immediately make that Robo because you're going to need the Colossi. You can't just use Blink Stalkers against Infestors. It just won't work. A lot of Overlords moving out here. It might be a fake drop. He may try to spread creep with it, though.
Yeah, there are some builds where you spread that creep and get really fast Hydras, but of course that's not happening here. But people underestimate the creep spread. He's
got a Hive up here. He's getting a Baneling Nest. He may research Adrenal Glands with this Hive.
Yeah.
Obviously no Spire up, so he's not going for a Greater Spire attack. It could be for Ultras, though, and in fact, it is going to be for Ultras. Ultraless Cavern going down.
With these Phoenix running around. Don't think he actually saw that, though. Also taking a 4th base over here at the 9 o'clock position.
Alicia doing a great job of scouting. He didn't actually see that the Hive was being made. And he won't see the Ultraless Cavern unless he comes around with this Phoenix he's got up here at the top of the map. DT is being very annoying. Lings not being as annoying.
Both these guys sitting back very passively at the moment.
Phoenix actually did not see the Ultraless Cavern. Just checked for another base. 4th base is going up for CoCa over here at the 9 o'clock position. Will be spotted by a DT.
He's going to force a cancel on that.
Yeah, there's no units nearby. He's going to have to cancel it. Alicia does have +2, so that DT does so much damage per swipe. 55 damage to be precise.
Oh, looks like we're going to see a drop with Banelings.
Ooh, I like this move a lot.
And a lot of Lings.
Now, is he going to pressure at the front to draw the units back? And is this hatchery going to fall? An Overseer, or rather an Overlord, trying to become an Overseer. Not going to be done in time, though.
He let the hatchery finish. He's going to be very close on the timing. I don't think it's going to work, though.
I think he's going to get the hatchery. Does get it.
There's a second DT there as well, but he will catch both of them on the very least.
Yeah,
or maybe.
They're trying to kill some of these drones as well. Here comes the drop, though, in the back of Alicia's base. Several Overlords. There are a few Banelings in this as well. And here they come. Lings dropping out. And in fact, he actually didn't. He canceled those Banelings, so there are the Banelings there.
Oh, they do have those upgrades. That Nexus falling very, very quickly. He might actually get it if he focuses it down with all his Lings.
But here comes some Banelings in the natural.
Oh, he hasn't noticed. He hasn't. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All those probes go down. And he lost the Nexus in the main as well. 41 workers dead.
And while all of this was going on, 4 Ultralisks coming out. You've got those Colossi out, you think you're safe, and then the Ultras come and you're not.
Especially the Ultras definitely do a lot of damage to those Stalkers, especially with the fungal growth. They can't blink anywhere, they just take all that splash damage as well because they group up so much.
And
we see
again,
a lot of Lings going over to the 3 o'clock base. He's going to lose that. Actually leaves a certain amount of Lings. I think he will get that down. Those Lings have a lot of upgrades. I believe he also has adrenal glands.
He does have adrenal glands. He's got +2 melee attacks, and of course that also applies to the Ultralisks that are coming out here. 2 more Ultras about to pop. Speedling's checking everywhere. He's actually preparing to do another Baneling and Speedling drop in the bottom left of the main of Alicia. There, we'll get a shot of it. There it is. Making some more Banelings here. CoCa showing us some incredible PVZ here.
He's already maxed out. He's just continuing to harass Alicia. He's dropping those Lings now, and I think the same moment that he drops those, we'll probably see those Banelings come through as well. But with all these upgrades, these Lings do an insane amount of damage.
The Banelings at natural.
There's no probes there in the first place.
He's
They're all
like,
dead
oh,
already.
I already killed those. I guess I'll have to find another place. And these Lings do fall. Sees the Nexus remade. But all of this is keeping Alicia inside of his base.
Yeah. He's not even maxed yet. There's just so many Banelings going through there. He's going to be able to drop those on the fungal Stalkers and then just have the Ultralisk clean up.
Yeah, there's 9 Ultras there. All of the Infestors. There are so many Infestors. About 8 of them. They all have full energy. That Phoenix saw everything he didn't want to see. That is a Protoss player's worst nightmare. That Phoenix goes over and sees Alicia's just like, what do I do now?
You die. That's what happens. He's actually does he know that that 3 o'clock has been remade? I'm not sure, but he'll probably check very quickly. There we go. Lings going over to check. There's already 2 cannons there, but these Lings do so much damage. I think they'll be able to take him out regardless.
I think so, especially when the 9 Ultralisks get there.
Oh, here we go. The Stalkers are coming down as well. They're blinking forward. The Colossi, fungal growth on a lot of these units. There's an Immortal in there as well. He's neural parasiting the Colossus, and the Overlords don't even have to come. Everything's just melting before it gets there. All these Ultras are actually dropping another fungal growth on everything. Here come the Banelings, going to completely clear this up. But he has a massive trust fund going into this. He's got 5 Ultras on the way, even level 3 upgrades for his Lings as well. 34 Lings, 36.
And yeah, not
44, 48.
54. Remember though, also those not only do those upgrades apply to Lings, they also apply to the Ultralisks.
Yes, they do. He's also taking 2 extra bases down in the bottom left-hand corner. CoCa looking so strong right now.
Yep, 80 supply up. As far as workers go, 82 to 59. He probably won't make any more drones. He just doesn't need to. He's got that critical amount. Like you were saying, he built somewhat of a trust fund. He's just remaxing here with Ultralisks, Zerglings, Banelings, great upgrades. Remember, he doesn't have Baneling speed, which I think I'd be a little bit critical of with that many Banelings in the mix. He could have done a lot more damage when the Banelings were trying to chase those Colossi. But, again, great unit control, great unit composition. Again, going to drop here in the main. May try to take out some of these tech structures. There's a Templar Archives here that's relatively vulnerable. We'll get a shot of it in a second. There it is in the main base, killing these probes. Going to take out that
DT being warped in there, but it is going to take out this tech structure. Not what Alicia wanted right now. He's still stuck at 130 supply. These Lings tearing apart these Zealots.
Even going to take out a lot of these probes as well. This creep's not going away for a while either.
No.
Look at those Ultras. They have +3 weapons. That does 47 damage to armored units per swipe. They can break force fields. They can break Alicia's spirit.
Yeah, I would not want to be in Alicia's position right now. He just feels constricted, can't really do anything.
What can you do? Can you make Immortals? No. Can you make Void Rays? Not really.
Can't do anything.
I mean, you could make Void Rays. Void Rays would be great here, but there's just so many Speedlings. There's Infestors. You don't have Stargates. What are you going to do? This composition is so strong.
I am surprised that we don't see Baneling speed just yet, though. He does have quite a bit of gas. He's also got the 6 bases up and running now. He's got the gas going for most of those, if not all.
Yeah, getting a lot of these ready to drop. Again, does not yet have Baneling speed. +3 Carapace being researched for those units.
Got some
and when
Archons
that finishes,
being made.
it's going to get gross.
Archons is a good response to this,
Yeah, the Archons are pretty decent against this composition.
but not when they're neural parasited.
Exactly. And he's going to go for it up here. I don't know if Alicia can hold this. Tons of Speedlings, Ultralisk, Banelings inside of dropships. Can he hold this? I don't think so. A great wall off here. The Speedlings, though, will break through.
And while this was happening, we did see a Baneling drop over in one of the expansions as well. All the rest of Alicia's units are coming from the left. The Banelings and the Overlords coming in from the north. He knew they were there. All the Banelings being dropped. So much damage. He looks like he is going to hold it off. All these Colossus going down, but still, Alicia's down to 93 supply, and CoCa's back. He's got so much in production. He's still trying to spend his trust fund.
Yeah, and the Lings are still damaging these units. Dark Templar are starting to get mobile on the map. I like this. Unfortunately, though, CoCa is ready for everything. He does have enough spines to hold that. He's got a Spore and a Spine at every base, sometimes more than one spine.
Yeah. But the problem is, every time he attacks, Alicia just doesn't have a big enough army to go on a counter because the remax from CoCa is just too quick.
Yeah. Alicia does have a few High Templar out. He's going to make those into Archons. Like you were saying, Archons do a pretty good job against this
And over
competition.
here at the 9 o'clock, we got so many Lings coming through. There's only one cannon there. He's just going to focus down this Nexus. It's dropping so quickly. +3 attack, Adrenal Glands, these Lings, so strong.
Yeah, these DTs trying their best, but even though he can kill all these Lings, he can't save the Nexus. He needs that Nexus. His natural is getting close to being mined out. His third base is as well. His main, not so much, because he keeps losing all his probes there. Alicia making good choices in this game, but the Infestor opening was just so strong. These Lings, they didn't even get dropped. They sneaked into the main. These sentries wish they weren't there.
Got more drops coming through here for CoCa as well. He's just constantly on 200 supply here.
Yeah, more and more drops, like you said. These DTs trying to be enough here. Nope. CoCa ready at every turn.
Alicia's warping in Zealots to deal with these Lings, but the upgrades are so high on these Lings, they're just tearing through the Zealots anyway.
Yeah, those Zealots will fall. It's like every Zealot he warps in just dies.
He's still got 8 Lings in that Overlord that's just sitting there spewing creep. But here we go, more Banelings and Overlords, Ultras, Infestors everywhere. There's a lot of Archons in here though. This could be a big difference. Immortals, Archons, and Colossi. I don't think he's going to be as effective as he wants to be this time.
I don't know. Let's find out. Here come the Ultras running for it. The Stalkers blink back. There aren't the Infestors. They just got here. And CoCa just running through with all these Ultras, but they're falling very quickly. But here come the Baneling drops on top of everything. Finally, the Archons do fall here, but again, the composition much better for Alicia this time, and he does crush through that army.
He did survive. He's got a little bit of a bigger army than last time, but at the same time, the 3 o'clock position has been taken out yet again. There's so many extra bases for CoCa. We have a look. He's pretty much mined out on every base.
Uh-oh, the Lings trying to counterattack. Nice block here by Alicia, but will it be enough? The Lings have Adrenal Glands. They're breaking through. Nice force seal, but will it last forever? The answer is no.
It's actually going to get through here. We do have a counterattack by Alicia going down into this base. We got Speedlings coming in. They are dropping that Colossus so fast.
He's going to want to micro those Colossi away from the Ultralisk. Has broken through those Spine Cars, but so many Speedlings coming up. And it looks like he will lose this majority of this army. The Speedlings just have too many upgrades. More and more Speedlings coming out. He's just making purely Speedlings and Ultralisks at this point. Everything falls. GG. That's what I like to see. Nice play by both players. CoCa, interesting Infestor opening. Stopped. Basically, he was aggressive with it after he figured out what was going on. But that type of opening, I'd like to see how it would do against a 6-gate or some type of 7-gate with +2 timing attack.
Yeah.
But
it would
again,
be very, very fragile without much energy on the Infestors.
But
it really came down to those upgrades on the
Exactly.
Lings.
He knew he was at cross map, so he was able to buy a lot of time. Then he attacked when he knew his opponent had mostly sentries, and when your opponent has mostly sentries, you go in there with those Infestors, things get pretty dirty.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to go back into the other game here between the MKP and Lucira, now that hopefully his mouse drivers have been fixed.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be hard to trump that game.
It's going to be hard to trump that game. That Zergs who struggle with this matchup, watch this game. Tell your Zerg friends to watch this. People don't understand how Baneling drops work. People don't understand kind of what timings to do. That was great. He did all of that without any Spire tech.
Yeah.
Didn't get any Corruptors to deal with the Colossi. Just made Ultras. Controlled the map with the Speedling drops. Speedlings in the third. Speedlings in the third again. Did you make a third? I've got Speedlings there.
And even with that force goes up, he had cannons there, but with all the upgrades on the Lings, it didn't really matter because they just chewed through it so quickly. And he was just everywhere. Alicia couldn't move out of his base. The only time we ever saw him attack was right at the end and when he had no army anyway.
And did you guys notice how long he stayed on 3 bases on that map? He actually played an aggressive style. A lot of Zergs just get a little too greedy, decide I need to take a 4th and the 5th base right now. We're both on 3 bases. Maybe I need to just make 2 bases. No, he actually just stayed even in bases and used a good unit composition to control the map. He was at cross map. Then later, after he destroyed Alicia's army a few times, decided to take his 4th and 5th base.
Yeah, it was more of a I need to spend my trust fund rather than anything else. And it also was helped out with a lot of the supply that was going through.
I saw Marine King run by us there. Maybe he's got driver issues now. You guys are never going to see it.
Eventually.
Eventually.
We'll be here till they actually play, so...
Yeah. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Don't go anywhere either. Seriously, though, I liked Alicia's style. He didn't do a timing attack. He played, I don't want to say passively, but he took that 3rd base. He had the ability to get aggressive. He scouted everything that was going on. He knew the infestors were coming up. The thing about that build, though, is if you know they're coming, what do? If you try to use Zealots, obviously that's not really going to work because they can't move. Then if you've got all those Speedlings to deal with, you want to blink your Stalkers back, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of difficult to do. A very difficult situation to be in. You want to get Colossi, though, ASAP. After that initial engagement, you should have teched straight to Colossi. He didn't, though.
I don't know. Near the end, he seemed to get the right composition to deal with it. The Archons, Immortals, a couple of Stalkers in there, and the Colossi. But it's so gas-heavy. It's not funny.
And you just can't do that off of 3 bases.
No.
You can't do all of those things off of 3 bases, especially when there's Speedlings in your 3rd base every time you blink. And every time you blink twice, there are Banelings, Speedlings, dropping. There's creep spreading inside your main.
And in the natural with Baneling bombs.
Very, very aggressive style from CoCa.
I like it, though. A lot of Zergs are too passive, and it really takes it. It put Alicia in the position where he just didn't know what to do. He'd never experienced that before, and you could see his mind just freezing, and he just couldn't move out of his base. He just didn't know what to do.
Yeah. I actually don't know how I would have replied to that myself, because I play a very similar style to Alicia. Remember, when Zergs ask me, when I coach people sometimes, they ask me, how do I deal with the death ball? The Protoss death ball, the max 200 army. I tell them, you can't really. You actually just don't let him max out. That's how you deal with it. And that's what you do. And if you do an aggressive style like we saw from CoCa, keep trading. Use those infestors to slow down counterattacks. You're at cross map. If you're at cross map, it's a great strategy to do. I like that idea so much.
Well, interestingly enough, when CoCa actually did trade armies, he couldn't remax completely, but he had enough to at least have half his army there straight away. Like, he had all the Lings out really quickly, he had the Infestors out quickly, and then the Ultras came in later, and that filled up the rest of the supply. So
the last thing Alicia wanted to do was counterattack.
Yeah.
Because he was always so aggressive. If he left his base for a second, everything he owned would be gone.
With all those Lings, like, every, 10 seconds we were looking, and somewhere on the map, there were Lings attacking guys.
Lings attacking the 3rd, attacking the main, dropping, Banelings running for you. If the units went out at all, he found a way into the main. When you have those adrenal glands, it doesn't matter about wall-offs. You'll get in there.
Yeah,
he did.
The Lings with +3 and adrenal glands kill things so quickly. It was like...
They called them
5 to 6 seconds to kill a Nexus.
They call them cracklings in StarCraft 1 and maybe sometimes
it's very rare that we
2.
see Lings with that many upgrades in Star 2 at the moment, though.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see more of it, because that was an amazing game.
When I saw that he was getting the fast +1 missile attacks, he got the fast lair, or not missile attacks, melee attacks, so I always say those backwards. When I saw the fast melee attacks and the lair going, I thought maybe he's just going to go Speedling Muta. It's pretty common. That's normally what you see. But he just got those upgrades very quickly. And that was very important. Remember, when he attacked those infestors, not only there were Speedlings and there were infestors, but he also had +1.
Yeah.
Really, really helpful to crush through that
And
Stalker
even when he was
army.
running away with those infestors, he was able to double back, just fungal those Stalkers once, and just kill them off in the end.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Lucier's still not in the game. So
we don't know what's going on at the moment.
I don't know. I think maybe some more driver issues. Hopefully not. Okay, so Lucia, I just told he's taking a little bit longer to set up. everything has to be just right. I actually heard, maybe was it Lucira or someone else who had an issue at MLG? I heard there was a Korean player who had trouble setting up his stuff.
I think it was Asira, and I'm pretty sure he played Game 2 mouse only.
Really?
Yes, I believe that was the story. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure that was the story. And then Game 3, he just refused to play until he was set up. Because he, of course, lost Game 2.
Yeah, you can't play mouse only. A lot of people thought Sheth was playing mouse only, and when he has his keyboard in
The
his lap.
Sheth keyboard is what we call it.
The
at
Sheth
home.
board.
The Sheth board, yes.
Yes.
Keyboard on the lap. The Koreans love that he does that too. It was a big explosion. He was looking at him. He was like, huh?
All right.
It looks like he's finally in the game.
I think so. I see him here in the lobby. There's CoCa having the one win there. Now Lucira looks pretty happy.
See, always smiling.
He is. He's a really happy guy. He smiles all the time. Again, this is a really, really close game to call. I can't call it one way or another. I think that Marine King will certainly get out of this group because if he has to play, if he wins, then he plays against CoCa, and I think
I don't know, CoCa's style might... It's very unique.
that's true. If he loses, though, he plays against Alicia, and I think he will beat Alicia. He's beaten Alicia a lot. And then after that, then can he take out another Zerg? We'll see.
We'll find out. So the game is starting.
Yep.
Finally.
Finally, it's really happening. I promise. I'm seeing the map load, the bar at the bottom. My computer's loading kind of slow. Lucira doing some interesting stretches there, getting prepared. Who's going to take this? Will it be Marine King or will it be Lucira? Let's find out here at the GSL Codes.